right. Hello, good morning. Haven't streamed for a while. Just been busy, really. Not felt like it. Last time I was streaming, we were working on this Divergent Teams project, and I haven't done anything on it since. Well, I did. I actually did. Yeah, I actually did quite a bit. But I'm stuck on this one thing where we need to do some prompt engineering because it's not generating the to-dos the way I want it to. So what we're doing is building up to a demoable state, and we're really there. It's just the way it generates the to-dos that's not perfect. So we have like Christian Alfoni and Jill Jellybean here, and what we're gonna do is go into this message trigger, and then we're gonna talk about the things. Let's see. On message. So to kind of give you the context, what's gonna happen here is that there are kind of two types of messages that's generated. It's the ones where I create a to-do and I mention someone, and then I write the first message to them. That's simple, right? You have a to-do with a mention, and that's just going to flip the perspective. But then I might be having a conversation about a task, for example, or I have a to-do about a task, and then suddenly I want help from someone. So then I tag them in a message instead. And that's where it kind of got weird. So let's see. So there should be, oh my God. Yeah, so if it's the first message, we extract mentions from the to-do as well. Okay, this is fine. Where does it actually generate the to-do? Yeah, okay. To-do creator, original. Oh, it actually does. Original to-do, text resources is from to-do. Trigger only. Oh, this is weird. Oh, yeah, we don't need that trigger only. That's even I don't understand what that means. Original to do. Okay, so I think this is where it kind of loses track of it. How are we gonna do this? So we kind of want to have the message as context as well, because this is where it's different. So if you mention someone in a to-do, it's very easy to just flip the perspective on the to-do. But if you have like a message, you know, it's still, the to-do is still relevant, but you might have information in the message that kind of dictates what the to-do of the person you're mentioning should be. I would imagine, but that might not be true. That might not be true. So yeah, I'm curious about this. Yeah. Okay, let's read the rest. So this might be a bit confusing. Like first it states to do, and then it just says message. Maybe it should, yeah, and here it says conversation. So all messages are visible in the conversation. Don't duplicate message content in the generated to do. The original to do describe what needs to be done. The message is just a trigger. I don't think we need to inform about that. Yeah, and then it just informs about create a to-do with the correct perspective for the mentioned users. The to-do creator is oh, interesting. Or the target. Oh, this is okay. This is probably where it gets confused. Let's see if I can get into the right mind space of this. Create a to-do from, so this would be, who's the mentioned person? Don't we even know the, wait, what is it doing here? Mention users. Oh, okay, so it takes all the mentioned users. Oh, interesting. That's not what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to create a to-do per user. So here it goes and it generates, and then it does like one. And then rich text schema. Oh, interesting. Yeah, this should be like, it should loop through this. So let's try to change this to do sourced count. Oh, interesting. This is so complex. I don't think we need to do this. Like, we know it's from the to-do if it's actually from the to-do. Like, we don't have to. Oh, okay. Yes, I guess all of this is part of that. Okay, let's see. But then we have the completion. And then process each mention. Oh, and then, okay. So it creates a shared message. But I don't want that. Okay, how are we gonna... Wait, what the fuck is this? Oh my god. I'm not in the mood for this. Oh, for fuck's sake. Fuck. How are we gonna get through this? Why does it create another one? Because this is what I was looking for. This is like owner user data. Is the target. What is this shared thing? No, I don't want this at all. Let's just try removing that. Yeah, and then, oh my god, this is a bit rough for me. This is not like morning. Okay, let's look through it again. So here it just goes and just basically finds all the users. That's fine. And then we're going through each mentioned user. We're trying to figure out if there's already a to-do with that conversation. And if it's not empty, we're going to return. There's no reason to create a to-do because there already is one. And then we fetch the participant user details. And then to-do mention use, is from to-do or a message. And then we generate a to-do for this user. Context, to-do creator. This is the owner, original to-do. Let's remove this trigger only thing. Is from to-do. Let's try not to do anything about that. So this is the message. Target user. The generate will share the same as the original to do. All messages are visible to everyone in the conversation. Don't duplicate message content in the generated to do. The original to do describes what needs to be done. The message, okay, we shouldn't need to explain that. Text uses placeholder that references read. Create a to do from the perspective. Participant user dot display name. The to do creator is the original not what they need to do. I think this is the problem. But we did already, sure. Yeah, create a to do from the perspective of, I think that should be enough. Let's remove this. Yeah, we don't need this. Create a to do from the perspective of participant user display name. Replace any mention with you or your. Do not include them as a resource. Primarily focus on the original to do text. Primarily focus on the original text and original to do text, and only include message details when important for the target perspective. For the we need this to not be so like technical, and this is a little bit tricky because there is some technical stuff to this. Do we even need? I don't think we need this. The ID. Okay. Replace any mention of participant with you. Primarily focus on the original to do text. Focus on Changing. Just changing the per span. This is so tricky of the original to do tag. And only include message details when to, and only include and only include message details when it has added details. Yeah, something like that. Don't add extra context, stay literal to the original. Don't make assumptions about additional context beyond the text. And message. Okay, cool. Let's just try this. PnPm deploy functions. Right. I don't have Firebase. How do I install Firebase? Mac OS. Copy. I don't have that? That's weird. Sorry if this is really boring, but I had to do a stream to get this thing done because I haven't been able to motivate myself. It's been a bit too many projects. But the nice thing is that I'm working on something really, really cool together now. So I'll be able to demo that shortly, I hope. Let's see, Firebase. I guess I kind of have to sign in. Can't imagine. Oh. But is it Firebase login or something? Oh, already logged in. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so maybe we can, well, we can't really prep anything. Well, we can prep a little bit. So, oh, look at that. I already have some Firebase console. Let's go in and delete collection. When autofocus is not implemented where you expect it to be implemented, that's one of the most annoying things. Okay, so at least we can create, so the demo here is like Jill is already in the company and she's responsible for onboarding this new employee, Christian Alfoni. And she's just making a to-do of this. So nothing really happens now, right? And then we'll have to wait until it deploys. I found the 80s greatest hits playlist. Makes me happy. Deploying functions takes a long time. Yeah, so what we're gonna do now is that we're gonna, you saw that? Autofocus. We're gonna create a conversation on this. And since I mentioned Christian here, the system should generate a to-do for Christian. But we have to deploy first. I had this discussion with a colleague about like so a lot of things. Maybe I should just stream and talk about like what's been moving in the AI space, because it's very, very interesting. Like one thing I've kind of not come to terms with, but kind of built a mental model for myself is that we talk about agents, and fundamentally you have agents are just large language models with tool calling. They're actually able to do things. Now, the thing is that what we're seeing now is that we have 3 different modes of an agent. So an agent has an assistant mode, and that's where you have this synchronous conversation back and forth. It's able to do tool calling, but any write operations requires permission, right? So it's like a permission-based thing. And since you have this synchronous conversation, you can like, okay, that's fine, that's fine. And then you have this other mode, which is planning mode. And this is where the agent doesn't have, it's still a synchronous thing. So you're like conversing with the agent, but its only artifact is like a big ass markdown file, which has a plan. And it doesn't have any write tools other than creating the plan. And it doesn't need like permission to write the plan. So that's a different mode. And then you have the plan execution mode, and that requires a plan. But then this mode is autonomous. It's asynchronous. So you give it a plan, you give it full access to read and write, and it goes off typically in the cloud. But also with Cloud Code, you can run it locally. But you let it go, right? You say implement bypass permissions when you start that mode. And that's really, really interesting. And then I talked to this colleague about like, what would it look like if, like, what does future work look like? And what I think it looks like is what we've been trying to do for so long is having proper product teams. So for example, at Code Sandbox, we had teams that were always product, DevOps, backend, engineering, and design. Like you have one person from each part, like depending on the implementation. And then everyone would be part of actually creating the thing we were building for the user. And it was so much fun, and it's so valuable to have that cross function or cross skill interactions. But the problem is that there's so much time that goes into writing code. So you kind of spend maybe 70% of the time writing code and 30% of the time talking product and what you actually want to build. But with AI, the way I think about code now is that code is human labor. Just like you had things that were human labor before and it got automated, right? This is what we're seeing now, is that the human labor of writing code is being automated. And the good thing about that is this image I have in my head is that you have this service, like everyone goes in this collaborative service. Maybe Linear would adopt this or whatever. And you work on this plan document together with an agent. So you're having a chat conversation around this document. You can edit it, and everyone in the team is working on this document, right? Creating context for everyone to understand what we're building. And in this conversation, you can tag other people and so on and so on, but you can also tag the agent to tell it to update the plan. And then when everybody is happy with the plan, like check, 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 it's fired off to an agent in the cloud. It goes and actually implements the plan. And then you go and work on something else. So like more like, and then of course there's a PR and you will review that, which is a different discussion, because I think that's also going to change like crazy. It's not going to be like these shitty diffs that you look at on GitHub. That's also going to be a brand new experience. But the point is that you're going to spend 70%, it's going to flip, right? You're going to spend 70% of your time actually doing product work, and 30% of your time is going to be like reviewing code that, or not even the code, but reviewing the implemented plan of the AI. And I think that's a much nicer future. Like, it's so much more fun to work with other people and work on actual value for users than just writing the necessary code to make it happen. And then you can say like it's fun to write code in and of itself, and that's great. But then you can do that as a hobby, right? It's more like a, yeah, it's kind of like you love tinkering on old cars, but that doesn't mean like you should have an old car. You have this additional old car that you can tinker on, and then you have a modern, safe, good car. I don't know, that was a bad analogy. Anyways, I'm diverging like crazy. But yeah, I would love to, maybe we could even do a stream on that. Like, just create a proof of concept of that, because I think it will be super, super cool. Yeah, anyways, let's see what happens. How you doing, Christian? Oh, that was a bad transition. Anyways, it's just a demo. Okay, so now we're talking to Christian. So what we should get here shortly is a to-do. So let's see. And now like the function is called, so it takes a long time. But normally this would be a bit faster. Oh, look at this. My air quality is green. It isn't as cold outside, so now we actually get the humidity in the basement up to a normal level. That's amazing. It's amazing. Oh my god, this took a really long time. Let's see, it should pop up unless I don't think we created a bug. Can't imagine that happening. Just remove some code. Let's give it a few more seconds. I can go and bring up the message trigger. I guess it's this one. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Created to do. Why isn't it here? Oh, what the hell happened here? Oh, look at that. Reading type. I think we got some bad data. Let's see. Use to do conversation. I want to have log messages. Okay, let's see here. Or let's just look at the message. Oh, what the hell? Oh no, sorry. It's not a, it's the actual to do. Where is it? Use tasks. Don't we have use to do's or something? Where the hell do we have the... Oh, of course, we have them here. Let's see, mentions, to-dos, collection, query. Oh, for fuck's sake. We need to log it in the actual app. Let's see, components, calendar, let's see. So this would be data.todos. Let's see. Rich text, onboard. Oh, it didn't. Oh, for fuck's sake. It did absolutely not do what I wanted it to do. Oh, I don't want to do prompt engineering. It's not fun. But what is it misunderstanding here? Because we're getting, let's see, do we have some logs here? For user IH3, I guess that's me. Yeah. Okay. For fuck's sake. Yeah, and the reason it errors is because it didn't actually insert. Generate a to-do for display name. Context. I feel like I don't want to do this. This is so boring. You know what? I think this is the... I've been using Claude Code like constantly, working on a proof of concept. And you know, it just makes it so boring to write code after that. I'm noticing like I've never had, like, as I said, I've enjoyed coding as like some people enjoy playing chess. Like, it's just a fun thing to do. But when it comes to when I have a goal beyond writing the code, the code just comes in my way. There's something I want to happen. And putting in the effort when you get it for free with AI, it just makes you, it just changes how your motivation for making things work. Why the hell did it generate that? That was like such bad generation. It just took the text of the original to do and shoved it in there without the resource. Okay, I have to, if I'm gonna make this happen. So I'm working on the message-trigger file, and I'm working on the instructions for the LLM to take a to-do with a related message and generate a to-do for any mentioned person in the to-do or in the message. And the whole point here is that I just want to provide the context of the to-do and the message to generate a to-do for any person that has been mentioned. And that to-do should just be like changing the perspective. So they're going to get like the same to-do, but only from their own perspective, with potentially details added from the related message they were mentioned in. And I'm having a hard time like creating these instructions. Could you review them? Don't make any changes. Let's just talk about how we can improve this, because the LLM just created the same to-do as the other user. It didn't even put in the correct resources in the to-do. I need help. Okay, let's go and delete to-dos again. Okay, looking at your, I can see several issues that will cause LLM. It's too abstract. You tell from the perspective. Yeah, and this is what I've come to learn more as well, is that these LLMs are much better at learning from examples than like having instructions. So the instructions are good for the tone of how they write, but what they should write, you need examples for that. Yeah, exactly. Okay, yes, this is great. Could you update the instructions with your suggestions, and then we're going to try again. By the way, Claude had another moment. Like after, it's so crazy how fast this moves. Like I weren't using Claude Code much before summer. I was using it a little bit, but then after vacation, summer vacation, I come back. I was using Claude, and something had happened, and it's hard to like pinpoint exactly what it is, but it just got way smarter. And I started using it a lot more. But then after the Christmas holiday, something has happened again. And now it's more concrete, because now Claude Code is moving more into planning mode on its own. So you might have, if you're using Claude Code, you might have seen that you get more like questions that you need to answer. And this is just Claude Code automatically moving into planning mode when it sees complexity. And this is, having that like automatic is pretty amazing, because it means you can just talk to it and it just infers that, okay, this is complex, I need to produce a plan. I'm going to ask the user questions about ambiguity, and then when it's done with that plan, you just say yes, go ahead, without like, with my permission, just make the changes. And that it's really, really amazing. And I find it funny, like how all these like hackers, I call them hackers, because they're in there like creating skills, they're creating custom Claude instructions. They are configuring Claude in all these different ways, and I don't get it. Like it works just fine without any of that, and that's what you want to have. You don't want to implement all these skills and give these custom instructions and all of this stuff. You just want it to work, and it will work, because it's getting smarter and smarter and more efficient about generating the context it needs and all this stuff. So yeah, I kind of bypass all of this stuff, all the new fancy features. But it's very impressive. how you can give I think, yeah, you know what I think happened after the summer is that you could give like a very ambiguous prompt. Like it wasn't ambiguous to you at all, but for the LLM it was a complete, like it starts without any context about the code, right? But it got really efficient at finding the correct context. So that's what happened after the summer. And now what happened after Christmas is that it's not only efficient at even more efficient and at finding the right context, it uses that context to produce a plan that it executes on automatically. That's what changed. Let's see. Onboard Christian. Kablam. By the way, I've been working on Divergent to-dos as well. Made a few updates there. I'm using something called, I added something called focus mode. And the really cool thing about focus mode is that I think I have some stuff there I can't really show you now. But what's really cool is that on any to-do, you can hit F and then it just blurs out the rest and you kind of have the thing you're working on. But you kind of have sessions. So you're just focusing on a thing and when you're done and doing something else, you just end that session and you start something else. Now, the cool thing is that when you end that session, you can tag it as undistracted. So it tracks how many minutes you're able to work on something undistracted, which is, I'm not sure exactly how we're gonna use it yet, only that it's shown in the weekly report. But its intention is to help you be aware of how much work you're actually able to do undistracted. Like, it's not to evaluate how much work you do, it's just how many minutes are you able to work undistracted. And then the other cool thing is that that I kind of just had a few iterations to figure out is that with these sessions, you kind of get these shadows across your day. So when you have these to-dos and you had a session on a to-do on one day, and then you move that to-do to the next day when you're on the next day, you will still have like a shadow of that to-do on the previous day, indicating that you gave it focus. So you kind of see your week of maybe still a lot of unfinished to-dos, but you can see through the week what you actually put focus on, which creates this feeling of actually doing work. Because that's the problem with to-dos, is like it doesn't change until it's completed. And that's really, really bad, because a lot of to-dos take several days to complete. Oh, look at that. Okay, onboard. Oh, I clicked. How are you, Christian? Kablam. Let's see now. Are you coming? Are you coming? We still have an error. It does take a few seconds to get that function up and running. Okay. Yeah, that's not okay. Ask you to onboard yourself. Well, she didn't ask that. I wonder why. Okay, so we're gonna give okay, so it got better, but take a look at what happened here. So Jill onboard Christian. What was it? Jill, ask to onboard yourself. This is a weird. So this is a pretty weird change of perspective. Like, because Jill has a to-do to onboard Christian. So something more typical here would be Jill wants to onboard you, for example. Do you see why this happened? And make sure that you don't create examples related to onboarding so we don't get false positives here. But yeah, please do a review on this. Okay, and then I am good, Jill. Okay, and then Jill is gonna say, I added you to the support team. Maybe you could take a look at some task, right? And then we have this message. I can look at the support team. Oh, cool, I'm there with Jill. There's the task. I can click the task, whatever. Okay, so the buttons are a little bit weird. Create to do basically creates a to do for me to work on that task. Great. I'll get to it. Cool. And then I'm here and I'm like working on this task, and I have a question. So I got a bit confused. Jill, what do you mean about this thing? What do you mean? What exactly should I do here? Right? So now I don't have a mention in the to-do, I have a mention in the message. But it should still bring in the context of the to-do and focus on that. So let's see what kind of to-do it generates now for Jill. And that's kind of demo. Yeah, so this is also wrong. Yeah, I'm having such a hard time figuring out how to inform the I think we're approaching these instructions the wrong way. It's almost like we should rather give the AI more directly, this is the text. Yeah. Let me, and the problem is blinding. Don't distinguish between. Participant as the object receiving the. Yeah, because this is interesting, because we're a to-do is about like a subject, object, and action. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, cool. Because I've been reflecting here. I think maybe we are also like mixing a lot of complexity with how resources work. So I was thinking maybe it's better to first instruct, like just use the actual text, because we have utilities that transforms a to-do into readable text, bringing in the mentions. So I'm wondering if we should do that. Like just start by giving context as like clear text of the to-do and the message. And then, as you stated here, when we're generating a to-do, we have to identify a subject, an object, and an action. and then generate the actual to do for the objects or the object, and then tell it how resources work, and maybe even resources, how they work, could be put into the and then do the technical stuff of how to generate that to do, right? Does that make sense? Right, we're asking them to do 3 semantic transformation. Yeah, let the LLM focus only on the semantic transformation. Yeah, so it still needs to output rich text, which it is already defined in the JSON schema. But yeah, so it still needs to do that. I'm also not sure if the actual Firebase functions has utilities to transform rich text into display text. So you would have to create that by like passing in the resources necessary. So yeah, could you please do this? Do an implementation of this? But yeah, what I'm doing here now is like, this is how I like to work. I like to reason about at a high level, not even like at the highest level, I know exactly what I want. I want these to-dos to be generated with the correct perspective and have like, yeah, that's like the user value. But then I also have, as an engineer, I have a lot of thoughts on how to achieve that, right? Which I also love, like reflecting and iterating on. And then at the end, you have the actual code that's gonna do these things. And it's just so much work to iterate on something and having to write all the code every time. And it just exhausts me. It truly does. Like even the Divergent to-dos project, like it's completely vibe coded, but I would never be able to even iterate on it and make all these changes without doing that. Because that project isn't about code, it's about something I really want to build. Converts, nice. Okay, let's try this now. This is gonna be interesting. Let's deploy that and let's do some cleanup. Oh, I hate that they don't. Why did they remove the refresh? Can I like just click? Can I do? Oh, I can do that. Conversations. And then to-dos, delete. Oh, look at me wielding the keyboard like a pro. Yeah. Yeah, I've been playing with I really want to talk about it. I'm having a meeting next week where we're gonna present the concept internally. I'm also having a workshop on Monday with some colleagues to look at it. The thing is, like, it's just a really cool concept. I'm just not sure if it has value. Like, it's interesting to see where things are moving. Like, did Anthropic accidentally figure out something? Because they, like OpenAI, try to build an assistant, like a personal assistant. And they're like really, really good at giving that assistant personality. Like even I moved to Gemini, and the thing I miss the most from ChatGPT is the voice of the agent or the voice of ChatGPT. It's so much better. Maybe it's because it's American, while Gemini is British. But yeah, anyways. But now Anthropic has like been focusing so much on code, and the thing is like it can do so much more if it's really good at coding. So now they're releasing this cowork feature, which is basically an abstraction on top of Claude Code, which doesn't like allow you to build like work with code, like, or its purpose is not to let you work on code, but its purpose is to let you work on documents. So instead of like choosing a repo to work on, you choose a folder to work on. But you can create anything like PDFs, Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations. Like you can do everything there, which is really, really interesting. And what's underneath it all, it's like, or why is it good at that? It's because it's fundamentally a coding model, I think. Yeah, so maybe they are actually doing the right thing here. Like you want your coding agent to be, you want your like assistant to do work for you. And the best way to do work is to have like deep good coding knowledge and the ability to plan and execute on that plan, which is what made Claude Code good. It's like it wasn't just enough to understand code, it was creating this like loop of autonomous work that they just brought over to Cowork, which is, yeah, makes a lot of sense. Oh, deploy complete. I don't know why I refresh after deploying functions. It doesn't really matter. Okay, onboard Christian. How are you doing, Christian? Okay, let's see now. Yeah, but the thing is, the reason I'm working on an agent, so I'm working on an agent project, and the reason I'm working on it is because, well, one thing was to look into tool explosion, and now I see that, oh, look at this. Jill Jellybean wants to onboard you. Let's just look at the actual analyze the original to do it, and who is performing that? Who is the action? Transform based on, yeah, review. Train Bob on the system. Okay. Review schedule. Okay. Okay, let's try it. Yeah, so one thing is tool explosion, where Claude now actually have tool discovery in MCP on MCP servers. But there's another thing. It's how do you, as a company, if you want an agent in your company, how do you create and expose tools without thinking about blowing up the context in a secure way that allows you to constrain? So instead of like connecting all these different things like MCP servers and connectors or whatever you want to call them, which are like these packages of tools, and you want to control per request what access that request has to tools. So you can imagine that you have tools that goes and grabs user data, but that user data needs to be bound to a token that's scoped to the actual user that's signed into your service, kind of thing. And from what I understand, that's super tricky to do with OpenAI and Anthropic. Hi, I'm good. I added you to the support team. Could you take... This is bad onboarding. Could you take a look at some task? Not even like this is a horrible first experience at this company. Okay, cool. Yeah, some task. I'm gonna create a to-do for me. Awesome. Oh, I think I misunderstood something. Could you help me out, Jill? So let's see now. What kind of to-do is it generating for Jill? Why is this taking so long? There. What the fuck? Yeah, so it's... Okay, let's just continue. Okay, so it got better now, but it still struggles with identifying subject and object. Take a look at this example. Christian. Christian to do. Work on some task. Christian writes message. I am confused about something. Can you help me, Jill? Jill gets to do... What was it? Christian wants you to work on some task. But this is not really correct, right? The message stated that Christian was confused about something and needs help with working on some task. While here it states that Christian wants Jill to work on some task. So yeah, I'm curious if this is because when the LLM is looking at this to do, it just states work on some task. It doesn't identify that it's Christian that has created this to do to work on this task, if that makes sense. Could you take this example and do another review and see what we can do about it? It's so interesting that this seems like such a simple thing, and it kind of is, right? But still, it's like, it's very complicated to get it right. Let me break down. The LLM doesn't know what the original to do belongs to Christian. Yeah, it only sees the director and transforms it. It wants you to. The prompts don't tell who the was assigned to. Yeah. The transfer. Yeah, exactly. We need to pass to do data to the prompt and add logic that says. Oh, interesting. Okay, excellent. Do that. Do you have also seen Cloud Code started to give auto suggestions? All right, I guess. Okay, we're gonna do one more pass on this, and then I want to do other stuff. Cool. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I have this like Divergent to do side project. That's my main focus because that has the broadest target audience and it's like the least lowest threshold to kind of try it and adopt it. And then this Divergent Teams is will stay as a proof of concept for inspiration. And then if Divergent to dos would actually get some users one day, then I would be able to actually work on Divergent Teams. I think this idea of like, how do you merge human and AI? Like it's kind of like, what does it look like to work at a place where you have AIs and humans working together? So I think having a human interface, which is about you and what you're doing, like you're doing this abstract work, right? And then having the ability to go in, converse with an agent. What if you could do that even here? So you have this to do, or sorry, you have this task. Yeah, so you're creating a task. And on that task, yeah, because now you can't really. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure how that would actually work as an UX, but yeah, it would be. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, it might just need like examples. That's all it really needs. But yeah, it was a good point that like it doesn't know it's a self-assigned task, right? Okay, let's try again. Onboard Christian Alfone. Oh, I think I know about one issue. Like if I were to onboard and then write a message, it's probably going to create two to-dos because it's still generating the first to-do. So there's a race condition here. But yeah, I don't care about that stuff now. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, sorry. It's my fault. How are you, Christian? I have to write a message. Yeah, sorry. So if I write this message and then I write another message, that will be the race condition. Oh my god, oh my god. Memory usage. Yeah. Yeah, I am good. And Jill says, I added you to the support team. Could you work on some task. Yeah, sure. Let me click some task. I'll create a to-do from that. Start working on this task, and I'm like, I am confused about something. Could you please help me, Jill? So now let's see what happens here. Oh, look at that. That's really cool, right? Actually worked. Yes, I can record a demo now. This is excellent. I don't think you can actually complete anything, but that doesn't matter. Cool. I'm happy. Sweet message triggers. Okay, that's it for me for now. I'm not sure what I'm gonna stream about next. We'll see. But yeah, this was nice. I got through it. Checked. Have a good weekend, and we'll speak soon, I hope. Bye bye.